Change of state. In case of change of state, we have different physical properties that are included in it, like the physical changes, melting, boiling, evaporation, freezing, and condensation. All are included into the change of state or change of phase. For example, we have solid substances, and then we have liquid, and we have gas particles that are sent there. So how can we express them, or how can we say about the different states or change of state in terms of the melting, boiling, evaporation, freezing, and condenses? So first of all, we'll talk about the physical changes that involve the forces that are present between the particles of the substances. If we talk about the melting is just like that. If it changes from the solid to the liquid. When a substance changes its state from the solid towards the liquid, we call it as melting. So this one is the melting, and when the substance changes from the liquid towards the gas, we call it as evaporation. So when the particles will move from liquid to a gas state, we call it as evaporation, and from solid to the liquid, it is known as melting. And if we talk about the reverse, like if the particles change from gas state towards the liquid, we call it as condensation, and from liquid towards the solid, we call it as freezing. So this one is the freezing, and from gas towards the liquid, we call it as condensation. So kinetic particle theory model discuss all the three states of matter by presenting the particles as the small solid spheres, as I already told you or explained you in terms of the melting, boiling, freezing, and condensing the particles. And if we talk about the melting is the change of the state from the solid towards the liquid, and boiling or evaporation is the change of state from the liquid towards the gas. Bubbles of the gas will form throughout the liquid, rising to the surface and to evaporate into the surrounding. Evaporation is also just like the boiling, but there is one difference between the evaporation and boiling, is that boiling, anything or any substance boils at a specific temperature, and if we talk about the evaporation can happen almost at all the temperatures, right? And next, if we talk about the freezing is the conversion of the state from the liquid towards the solid, and condensation is this change of state from the gas to the liquid. When a solid substance changes into a gas phase, directly into the gas phase without converting into the liquid, we call it as sublimation. This is also another state which we call it as sublimation, and in sublimation the particles directly converted from the solid to the gas state without converting into the liquid one. So that is known as the sublimation. And if we talk about the temperature change, melting and freezing take place at the melting point, boiling and condensation take place at the boiling point. So when the temperature increases, temperature will increase when the substance is converting from the solid towards the gaseous phase, then the temperature increases. Steam or gas particles have more temperature, and solid particles have less temperature. For example, if I gave you the example of ice and steam, and the example of liquid is water, H2O, that is the formula of water. So ice has the temperature may be like 0 degrees Celsius, that is also the freezing point of the water and the melting point of the water. Steam has temperature more than 100 degrees Celsius, and the normal liquid water that is present in the room temperature has a temperature of 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. So if we move from the solid state towards the gaseous phase, the temperature increases, and if we talk about the reverse, from the gas towards the solid state, then the temperature decreases. So these are the effects of the temperature on the conversion of the state or the change of state. As the temperature increases, the volume of gas also increases, and as the pressure increases, then the volume of gas will decrease, and if the pressure decreases, then the volume of gas will increase. So these are the effects of the temperature and pressure on the volume of the gas. I will explain this to you. When the temperature increases, if we increase the temperature, if this one is a container in which we have any type of gas particles, when the temperature increases, then what will happen? the volume of the gas will increases. Just because of that, the gas particles expand just because of the heating. And as the pressure increases, when we increase the pressure, when we apply the pressure to a container like this, these are the gas particles that are present here, and from the top we apply the pressure, and when we apply the pressure, what will happen? The volume will decrease. The volume of the gas will decrease because of the applied pressure from the top. But if we increase, if we decrease the pressure, like now the pressure is here, so then the volume increases, as you can see here on my screen. In the first one, this is the first one, in the first picture, and in the second picture, pressure increases in the first and pressure decreases into the second, as you can see the position or direction of the arrow on my screen. So this is about the changes of state in terms of the kinetic particle theory, and also the effect of temperature and pressure on the volume of the gas.